can begin.
All right. There is some signal which says that cancel the spotlight video. Are you operating something on that line or? But that has nothing to do with the presentation, right? Oh, you are muted. I can't hear you speak.
Yes, I just have your video spotlighted. Just as we admit people in, if they have their mics on, it might switch over to them, so that we can stay focused on what you're saying, if that's okay.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
So, thank you. I'll begin. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this segment on understanding the summer solstice, the importance of the sun in our life. My name is Shyamananda, and I would like to present some aspects of wisdom about the sun as the sun is seen through the vision of yogis of over the last few millennia. I will begin with a small prayer. Gananjana चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन विश्वदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So friends, we are discussing the importance of the summer solstice, and the basic meaning of a summer solstice is the sun standing still, which means there is a summer solstice, there is a winter solstice, and Aztecs, Mayans, the Druids of Europe, the civilization of India, almost all parts of the world, they have an understanding, a basic understanding about the importance of the sun. So all of you, I think most of you are in the Western Hemisphere right now. So this would be the longest day. And after that, the days slowly becoming more and more shorter by some minuscule magnitude, just 3 seconds every day. And over the years, mostly the world would be having an agrarian economy based on agriculture, taking care of animals, working the land, harvesting the crops. So for those people, this would be a festival of utmost importance. I am based here in Mumbai, surrounded by skyscrapers. Just a few days ago, now it is a rainy season in Mumbai. India has the seasons. So it's not like it rains throughout the year. So June, July, August, sometimes in occasionally September also. But just a few weeks ago, me and my colleagues would be on the terrace, and I'm staying in this monastery for over 3 decades now. And it would be easy to get the sun. This time I saw there is a skyscraper which is coming up, and I was surprised that for almost 45 minutes to an hour after the sun has risen, that means till about 7:15, 7:20 in the morning, there was no sunshine. And I was surprised. One day I was seeing the sunset, and again the same thing, that the sun just went below one skyscraper and that's it. So although I belong to a monastery, I stay here full time. I study, and I'm very much I'm reading about being natural, having a natural life. But correct me if I'm wrong. In today's times, our urban living, having jobs in a city, and totally mechanized, or today you can say a digitized kind of life. What's the importance of a summer solstice? And why do we even give so much importance to the sun? Well, one thing is for sure, we are desperately trying to be connected with each other. In today's times of America going through its turmoil, protests, and the COVID crisis, in India, the numbers are rising just like everywhere in the world. How does one celebrate? How does one take the broken pieces of his or her life and put them together to make some coherent sense? Today, we are going to do that in our short talk here. And I'll speak for about 20-25 minutes. Then afterwards, the field will be open for any feedback, any questions you might like to ask. So the first part of Vedic wisdom, which I would like to share, is a very wonderful words found in the Vedas. Yachakshuresh savita sakalagrahanam raja samastam suramurti rashesha teja yasyajnaya brahmati samvrita kala chakro govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. The sun is described as the soul of the universe, the origin of all life, the goal of the yogis, symbolism for freedom and spiritual emancipation. And it is called the king of the planets. It is the eye of the transcendence. In fact, those who suffer from any body disease, if they worship the sun, they can expect some kind of relief, which shows that although it is 93 million miles away, it is our caretaker. Only if we could connect. So, two things are to be understood when we discuss the sun: heat and light. We will first take the heat part. Human society cannot survive without fire. Fire element is there everywhere. But since we are yogis here, We are students of transcendence. We are students of wisdom. We will try to go a bit deeper. We see in the supermarket, in the fruits aisle, there are fruits. Hardly ever we are encouraged to give a thought as to what ripened it. How was the seed gently nourished and caressed by natural elements, that from the seed we have a sapling which made a tree grow, and then the fruit was gathered, and now we see it here in front of us. Yoga wisdom from ancient India tells us that the more conscious you are about what's happening, the better you are at decision making. You can decide, or to properly put it, you can choose to be conscious of things around you, or you can be distracted. And as people say that we are always bombarded by weapons of mass distraction. So just ponder for a moment. The heat of the sun actually was one of the main ingredients in making the fruit grow or grains grow. When we eat those grains, we need another element which is called the fire of digestion. Many yoga students understand the Agni in the stomach. And only when you have a proper Agni or fire element, which is just the right volume, can you digest your food. So the sun kind of is there in our life throughout. The next aspect of the sun is light. And this is a much deeper aspect. In the Bhagavad Gita, which is another yoga text, we have the sun being compared to the inner light. So just like the sun rises in the morning, and that part of the planet we call day. Three things happen. When the sun rises, with the help of the sunshine, the sun's light, you are able to see the sun. When you stand in front of your mirror, you can see yourself, and you can see the world. In the absence of sun, all three things are not easily possible. The wise men of ancient India they also taught how the general populace can understand the various levels of yoga wisdom. And again, the sun provides a very beautiful analogy. There are three ways of understanding when you say there is sunshine. So if you see out on the streets, in the courtyard, and you see sunshine, you may say, okay, now I have seen the sun. More deeper is somebody pointing out that this is the sun disk, this is the surface, this is the source of this sunshine. It is not just shine, sunshine. So now, instead of knowing that the sunshine is everywhere, you can also have a localized understanding of the sun disk, the sun planet. But when you understand the exact temperature on the sun planet and what kind of energy it is diffusing and what kind of gases are there, so the summer solstice could also be used as a way of deepening our connection with the natural world. Today, in many parts of the world, there is a lot of material prosperity, but there is a darkness of spirituality. There is no inner light. People are frustrated, angry, disappointed in relationships. In fact, how does one lead a balanced life? So, this is a personal favorite of mine. Let us say you come across a cave, an underground cave, where for the last 10,000 years, nobody has entered. Darkness rules over that particular place. And a team of archaeologists, they remove the overgrowth of shrubs and bushes. They may remove some stones. And then they come across this cave, and one of them puts on his flashlight or lights a lamp. Can the darkness there say that this is my domain? I am here for the last 10,000 years. I will not allow light to enter here. That's not possible. In fact, there is no foundation for darkness. Darkness is merely the absence of light. The moment light comes, darkness has to go away. So friends, this day can be just any other ordinary day. And if you look at your digital news or newspapers online, mostly it would be, okay, it was just like any other ordinary day. But today you can choose to let our hearts, which are also compared in the ancient text to be like a cave. So what is covering that cave? Our ideas, our values, our attitudes, things which we give importance. And today people are concerned about the environment, people are concerned about ecology. Why? Because in the quest of giving more and more bodily pleasure, we are simply not caring about our own environment. So those who opt for the path of yoga, that's like carrying a flag that I would like to be in light. There is a famous statement, perhaps some of you might have heard it. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Don't stay in darkness. Walk towards light. It happens that when we ponder over something like the sun, which we don't take it like a miracle, every day the sun would rise. But this is where we commit a mistake. everyday sunrise is actually a miracle if you think about it. In fact, the sun never rises or the sun never sets. It is we who change our position. It is something like 9:25, 27 a.m. in Chicago, other parts of America, and it is 8 o'clock, approaching 8 o'clock at night here. So the sun did not change his position, but we changed. That is the situation with our lives also. So the summer solstice is an occasion for going deeper, and we take the help of wisdom given by our predecessors. Wisdom is not like a check. Wisdom is not like a cake or a pizza pie, that if there are two, then you have halves, 3 becomes 1/3, 4 becomes 1/4, 5 becomes 1/5. So the more people come, material assets or goods, they become lesser and lesser, they dwindle. Wisdom is described by yoga masters as a flame. So if you have a lighted lamp and I bring mine, which has no light, I can take light from your flame and we'll see that the light has doubled. You didn't lose anything. I am all the gainer. I got everything from you, but yours was not lost. So there is anything where in sharing you feel restrained, you feel fear, that is material. But where there is joy in sharing, where the path of life kind of insists that in order for this thing to work, you have to share it. That's the light of the sun. That's the light of yoga. One more aspect I would like to spend some time on is abundance. We often see people desperately trying to there is an internal struggle that how can I relate to this particular thing when I don't have enough myself? The sun teaches us that sunshine is abundance. There is something called an abundance mentality. You work with that abundance mentality and automatically you find there are enough resources for everyone. It is said that the sun never hides his sunshine even from the courtyard of a crooked person. Everybody gets it. So in a world dominated by few people with such they have intelligence. The leaders of our business and commerce today, I'm talking about them. They have intelligence, but they don't have this abundance mentality. So in India, we have Mahatma Gandhi, who said that there is enough in this world for everyone's need, but there is not enough in this world to satisfy one man's greed. And it is us who have taken the first step. We are trying to align our bodies with the elements of nature. And I feel reassured that we are not talking of going back again to an agrarian economy where we all live off the land. Uh, Perhaps it could be possible that we take some breaks, like while searching for some information on summer solstice, I came across this very wonderful heritage site called Stonehenge in the UK. Perhaps some of you might have heard of it. Nobody knows even how so many thousands of years ago, what kind of people were they who built this. In fact, with today's technology, it still would be difficult to make another Stonehenge. So it is not like the path of yoga means you have to completely take a break from technology, or you should be against technology. Well, I think in this coronavirus times, it is Zoom technology which is bringing us together, isn't it? We are just using it for the right purpose. We are using it to share wisdom. We are using it to share love. So I will just briefly recapitulate the points, and then we can have some question answers if you have any questions. I began with this understanding of the summer solstice, where the sun is at the highest position. It is called the sun standing still. And from this day onwards, the days are going to get shorter. But there's a celebration. There's a big element of festivity. There is an element of joy, reconnection with the elements of nature. This also could be a time for reflection as to the sun is fire. Fire can purify. If you watch how gold is put in a fire, in fact, one yogi student asked his master that why there is so much of suffering in life. And the master said, my dear student, you can treat your life like gold mixed with some alloy. And when that is put in a furnace, all that is not gold gets burnt away. And all that is gold, it burnishes, it really shines, it glows. So why should you remain mixed with some alloy? So now these alloys could be alloys of attitudes, alloys of thoughts. So the sun purifies that. So today we can make a beginning that I saw one psychologist telling his clients that write down everything which you don't want to happen in your life and then burn it up. So that is a symbolic way of cutting that link with that particular type of attitude or behavior. And as following in the footsteps of previous masters, the sun is there to help us. Lastly, since the day, technically this is the longest day, and afterwards days are going to get shorter and shorter. So this is also a time to understand I need to slow down. On the path of yoga, you need enthusiasm to take up something. You need that encouragement to do it every day. So enthusiasm can be your accelerator, the gas pedal of your car. And just the opposite of that is the brake. So if you're going towards your destination, but you missed a turn, then you need to stop. Use your map, come back again. So slowing down means patience. The summer solstice also stands as a reminder that, well, within a few months it will be winter and you have to be prepared for it. So slowing down also is a element, an important part of growing up. So which are the things we need to take up? We use enthusiasm for it. And then when we need to take an inventory and to give up something, we do that with patience. So I'll repeat again this thing, which again is a really favorite thing of mine. The understanding of the sun is in three phases. Just the mere sunshine, that is one level. Understanding the sun's surface, that is much deeper. But understanding the sun planet in all its detail, that's really deeper. The path of yoga also is like that. First, there is the bodily yoga, yoga on the mat, as they say. And then there is yoga off the mat. How you become a student of the path of yoga, how you become a warrior, where you use these things to go deeper. And it's like a long journey. And today I was very happy to be a part of your growth. I can assure you that I am not a master, I am a student. And I happily commit myself to remain a learner all the time. So I wish you all the best on the path of yoga and hope to receive your best wishes and blessings all the same. Namaste. Thank you very much.
For those that are participating now, are we good to answer some questions if there's any questions? So if you do have a question, if you want to unmute yourself. And Swami, if they would like to get in touch with you, what is the best way? Is there a contact that they could reach you if they wanted to talk to you?
I can ask a question. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Ellen. Is that you, Ellen?
That's me, Radha. Yes. Can you hear me, Swamiji? I don't know if he can hear. Looks kind of frozen.
Swami Shyamananda, are you still there? I know we were having a little bit of low bandwidth earlier on his
Okay.
end.
You may need to link back in. Ah, I see movement. Can you hear me now? I don't know.
Swami Shyamananda, I think we have a question for you. Are you taking questions?
Well, I'll share my question with everyone to ponder, okay? So sometimes I get confused about the ego because in doing karma yoga, I've been instructed that, you know, it's always important to do everything with mindfulness and to do it as well as we can. And there's a very fine line between ego because who's the doer, right? And surrender, which is completely making an offering of what we're doing. So I'm wondering if there's a way to sharpen our discernment. Swamiji, there's a question for you. Can you hear me now? I don't know if he does. Well, anyway, guys, this is my question for the universe. Where is that discernment sharpener between what is ego and what is mindfulness when it comes to doing a seva? So I'm open to hearing any comments on that from anybody.
Swami Shyamananda?
I think he's maybe lost the audio feed, possibly, because he's not hearing anything.
Hello, this is Cindy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Commenting on Radha's question, I think it has to do with the motives with which we do something. If we're doing selfless service, if we're doing it for ourselves, for some purpose, for some kind of gain, then the ego is involved. If we're doing it for strictly for the good of other people or for the good of the entire world, then the ego is not a factor. Does that help?
Well, I think on a level of gross discernment, that makes sense to me, Cindy, because those are like two major categories. But then I feel like there's got to be subtle layers, because sometimes people, and I'll speak for myself, can think that we're doing a cause for the good, and then we get wrapped up in the egoic aspect of it, which is like the doer. You know, like, is this presentation good enough, for example? So that kind of judgment gets in there and it gets muddy. It's not as clear as, you know, if I'm doing it for the greater good or for selfless reasons versus, and I'm not doing it for me on a conscious level. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Well, the ego always tries to creep in there. So
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, it's always right.
Always be the witness. And I'm not sure, unless we reach self-realization, I'm not sure that's going to go away.
I hear you.
Those are just my thoughts. I don't know.
Thank you.
I'm sure somebody else, I'm sure Swami would have a much more spiritual reply.
Yours was a spiritual reply. Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome.
Swamiji, can you hear us now or no? Still nothing.
I guess I could chime in a little bit on that. For me, it's always just checking in. Is there force? Like, I feel like if there's force, there's likely some. If it feels forceful, there's some sort of ego energy around it. That's
I like
what
that.
that's
I
kind
like
of what
that.
I feel personally. And if it's not that you're not going to come up against that force during the process of doing it out of service, but it's always that check back of where is it coming from? Where is it coming from? But there is layers. I totally agree. There's layers. Absolutely.
I like what you're saying, Cindy, because it feels like when there's intensity, there's no surrender. So the intensity of the force is pushing and efforting in a way that creates resistance. So yeah, that makes sense to me.
And then is that our only option then if it feels so forceful is to just surrender? uh,
Well, you can really overcome it with control of your mind. Like when I go to volunteer at the food pantry, it's very easy for me to think, oh, I'm doing something great here. Instead of just feeling total compassion for the people that I'm serving and realizing that if anything happened to my Social Security, I could be one of them. And there's a big difference. But yeah, it's constant practice to control our own mind. And we catch ourselves thinking like that and think, no, wait a minute. No, mind, you don't want to think that. Let's just feel compassion for these people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.